Golston, the judge did rule that Omar Amin is a danger and a flight risk and therefore denied his bond. Now, his defense attorneys disagree and are already pursuing other options to secure his release. Here's a copy of PG&E's wildfire mitigation plan, and the outline includes moving 10,000 miles of its power lines underground. Now, some people living in these high-risk communities tell us this plan is not clear and more analysis needs to be done. The evidence markers that the chief is talking about right behind me there, you can see some of those. She said there are hundreds of them out here. So right now, investigators have to collect the evidence, piece it all together, and they say that's going to take a couple of days. We're here off 16th and J Street where people have come together to demonstrate peacefully tonight. It comes 1 year after that attack on the U.S. Capitol. You see they've gathered on each street corner out here with their signs in hand. This is one of the undergrounding projects PG&E currently has underway. Crews behind me here are working to remove about 6.5 miles of power lines from overhead and put new ones in underground here in the Pollock Pines area. We begin tonight with the very latest negotiations as we head into day 4 of the Sacramento teacher strike. Today, the district met with the union representing Sacramento school staff and offered a counter proposal. Tonight, Sacramento police are searching for answers after 2 men were shot and killed in Natomas. Here's what we know right now. The invasion in Ukraine has many in the Sacramento region on high alert and praying for peace. Now to Oakland, where the association representing union teachers met with the school district regarding COVID safety measures. Although the two sides have not come to an agreement, a member of the bargaining team says they are making progress.
This is KCRA 3. We begin with breaking news.
And that breaking news tonight is out of Stockton, where 3 people have been shot, including a child, according to Stockton police. You are watching NBC News special coverage of the sentencing of Derek Chauvin for the killing of George Floyd. We will return to that coverage shortly, but first, some of the other stories we are following today on the KCRA 3 News at noon. And California has extended the eviction ban through the end of September. The state will also pay off all back rent for eligible tenants. Police have begun arresting protesters blocking the Ambassador Bridge linking the U.S. and Canada. That's right, multiple countries are now calling on their citizens to flee as officials warn a potential strike could be imminent. John Lawrence has more. An investigation is underway right now after vandalism at the state capitol. It appears someone threw rocks through several windows at the state capitol Thursday. That's according to an employee there at the state library. Can't beat it at all. It was an exciting night of football. KCRA 3 Sports Director Del Rogers and Brian Heap join us live tonight from SoFi Stadium there in Inglewood, where there is a lot to celebrate, you guys. Before we let you guys go, all right, Del and Brian, last hour you guys were talking about going out to get a hot dog, one of those street dogs. Did you guys grab one?
Oh. That's all him.
The homeless man charged with the rape and murder of a Rancho Cordova woman will make his first court appearance this week. We've all seen the headlines over the past year. Sacramento's housing market is hot. The competition is fierce, especially for lower priced homes. Many offers coming in above asking price. I found out why some buyers won't even be stopped by anything, including a fire. And it is day 14 without power for people in the Sierra and the foothills after heavy snowfall knocked power out for 90,000 PG&E customers. There has been some progress, but for some people, not fast enough. Benjamin says doing things like creating defensible space around your home so there's no fuel for a wildfire, staying indoors with some clean air, and wearing an N95 mask when there is smoke, one that's marked with NIOSH, which means it has passed inspections and quality control. Doing all of these things can help minimize public health impacts now and in the future.
Tonight, KCRA 3 investigates. Brittany Johnson shows us just how bold some thieves have gotten and what's being done to try to stop them.
It's an all too familiar scene. Thieves pulling up, sliding underneath cars and going to work, cutting away catalytic converters. It can take just a couple of minutes, sometimes a lot less.
This is it right here. See it? That's removed.
Lewa Darwish and Mike Ataya own used car lots next door to each other on Fulton Avenue.
For the last 3 or 4 months, we never seen it like this bad.
How bad?
Almost on a daily or a nightly basis, someone here is stealing a cat.
Numbers from the Sacramento Sheriff's Department back that up. In 2018, the department had 74 reports of stolen catalytic converters. So far this year, there have been more than 1,200.
I started to really see this 7 or 8 years ago.
Sergeant Tom McHugh spent nearly a decade on a task force specifically focused on catalytic converter thefts.
There is an extremely large amount of precious metals that are compacted inside of those catalytic converters. Rhodium, platinum, and palladium are the main 3 that are in catalytic converters. They are valuable so much that they are ranking in the same area as gold and silver.
Thieves just don't go after car lots. There are multiple hotspots in Sacramento County where thieves are cashing in.
Apartment complexes, parking lots, strip malls.
Here's how these operations usually work. A thief steals a converter and sells it to a person for about $200. That person sells it to another for $400. Person 3 sells the stolen converter on the market for an even higher profit, somewhere around the $1,200 range. Quick math. Those third guys have made more than $3 million over the past 3.5 years, just in Sacramento County alone.
So it is very lucrative.
So where are stolen catalytic converters ultimately ending up? You may think they're going to scrapyards like this, but the process is a bit more complicated.
And they are not going to scrapyards here in Sacramento County. Most of them are being shipped out of California. They are being shipped to people that just basically smelt it, is what they call it. They start breaking it apart.
Over the past 3.5 years, there have been more than 3,000 reports, but just 27 were referred to the district attorney's office for prosecution. The DA's office only filed charges in 25.
Catalytic converters are pretty much untraceable. There's no VIN number. There's no license plate number, so that becomes a whole other issue.
It's why he's pushing California lawmakers to make pure possession of a catalytic converter illegal.
If you produce that paperwork after, no problem. Then we get rid of those charges.
Sergeant McHugh also wants a law that would require car companies to lock and secure catalytic converters during production to make them a lot tougher to steal.
Year after year, you would see a drastic drop-off of these thefts.
KCRA3 Investigates reached out to major automotive companies. Most didn't respond or told us no comment. But Honda did tell us in part it, quote, is open to working with other concerned stakeholders to develop practical solutions. And Toyota said, quote, the most effective approach requires close collaboration between the broader automotive industry and local and state authorities to devise legislative solutions aimed at eliminating the market for these stolen parts. KCRA reached out to every member of the state legislature. Of the dozen who replied, all agreed there's a problem. Some are working on legislation, but there's no apparent legislative consensus on an ultimate solution.
The short end of the stick is the owner of that car.
In the meantime, you can install your own protective cage around the catalytic converter on your car, especially if your car is parked outside overnight. It will cost you about $200 to $500 depending on the car. A cage will definitely slow a thief down, and maybe crooks will move on to an easier target. But Sergeant McHugh says there's no guarantee.
I don't know if you can eliminate yourself from being a target. These suspects, if they want your catalytic converter, they're going to get it.
In Sacramento, Brittany Johnson, KCRA 3 News.